5 red lights here at Silverstone. And it is lights out, and away we go. It's a decent start for Kiziel, and it's better one for Matt Guest, who gets alongside Elyas Mohammed already. And Matt Guest into turn 1, challenges for the lead at the first corner. They went 3 wide, and Kiziel has managed to get in the lead. Elyas Mohammed on the outside of Matt Guest. Matt Guest tumbles down to P5. He's made contact. Matt Guest is tumbling down the order. He's had a big incident there. You can see him at the back. He's gone from P3 down to P19. Awful start for Matt Guest, but it's Kiziel who leads. Then Elyas Mohammed, then Ben, then John Manning, who is drag racing. Marcel Hull down this first straight here, and a little bit of side pod contact there as Paavo Peltomaa is going wheel to wheel with Fletcher Watson in the background. This is a hectic start. But behind them, all sorts of places are being exchanged. You can see John Manning up the inside, and Marcel Hull, who goes quite wide. Marcel Hull will now drop down to P5. They had a bit of a squeeze up at Cops, and they both went off the track. As EJ Mack goes off the track while fighting Patrick, and a bit of side-by-side contact here. They're now going to go 3 wide almost. They do almost go 3 wide. They're going to make their way out to Cops. There's Patrick, there's a Red Bull on his inside. He doesn't, and cars fly off into the runoff. That's EJ Mack. Oh, someone's lost a front wing. Someone's lost some suspension, surely. There was big damage to Alessandro Putelli, Patrick, and EJ Mack. Random big collision down in the midfield, and well, EJ Mack just didn't leave the space for the Red Bull on the inside, and he got slingshotted towards the barriers. As I say that, Lewis Baker is overtaken by Jividar Ivanov, who seems to have pretty decent pace and is cutting his way through the field here. I wonder actually, is Jividar on the hards? He is. So that better tyre doing wonders for now. Oh, Paavo is out. Paavo is out once again, and that is the safety car. So Paavo, once again, has crashed out of the race. Where has he done that? He's done that at the start finish line. We're going to have to wait and see if we can get onboard angle here from Joe. Yeah, once again, look, he's absolutely flown off the road. Heavy impact into the wall, suspension underneath the car. But there we go, Jividar boots it out of this corner, and we do get underway. But look at the tyre wear. Everyone is going to check up here, and hopefully it doesn't cause too much chaos in the back. But Jividar also lags back, and Kiziel takes the lead of the race once again at turn 1, handed to him on a plate. Elyas Mohammed now cuts to the inside. Will that let John Manning find an opening on the Aston Martin? Its tyres are so old that everybody else just has such a huge advantage. Look how much the Williams is being slowed down. The leaders have already gapped him. John Manning will be furious with this. Marcel Hull will be looking for an opening. He's now burning all of his batteries. Got to hope he's got slightly lower wings. Will he go for a sit on the Aston Martin? He does, down the inside in sector 2 here, trying to squeeze the Aston Martin out. Jividar doesn't really have a choice here but to try and fight him with one arm tied behind his back, and through goes the Williams, and surely this is now going to happen to all of the drivers and the Hungry Sharks waiting behind him of that track position. But what's just happened to Ben, actually? Ben's just had a moment. There's a couple cars off in the background. I didn't see that. I wonder if Ben just had a moment with the rear end or made contact and flew through a bit of polystyrene, but he's now dropped, going for a move there, and oh my god, look at the dirty air on that Red Bull. Surely Lebobo is going to go through now, and he does. They go side by side, actually, coming into Maggott and Beckett. Max Amland's going to firm it round the outside. Where can the Sauber go? The Sauber manages to get through, and what a move from Lebobo. He manages to cut past Max Amland on those softer tyres, and he's now going to have to defend. Tries to signal for him to work together, but he just seems to have that superior straight line speed as there's positions changing in front. Jividar is toppling down the order even more. Lebobo's trying to hang it around the outside. Max Amland just leaves them enough space. They're going wheel to wheel down into the chicane. Lebobo tries to squeeze the Red Bull out, and he does just manage to do so. Ben now going around the outside of the Red Bull, really sliding his way around, and just gets shuffled out. Has to tuck back in. Great scrap there between Lebobo and Amalan.
Oh, Elyas.
Fletcher Watson up into P9. Something's happening with Elyas. Elyas has gone for the lead of the race here on the medium tyres. He's finally leading the British Grand Prix on lap 14. Kiziel has fallen down into second place as a result, and Fletcher Watson and Max Amalan now going side by side up into turn 1. Will this go well for the two rival teams? Fletcher Watson now on the inside. The inside became the outside, and now down into turn 4. Max Amalan manages to keep him at bay, and now Ben makes a lot of contact with both of them. Ben trying to go round the outside and looks for the switchback on Fletcher Watson. Brilliant switchback by Ben, who now jumps up into P10, and lots of shifting of the orders up and down the field.
Elyas's tyres are not done yet, but like, he's no longer putting a gap between any of us.
Does keep it on track though now with Kevin Yearling.
Side by side between Lewis Baker and Jividar Ivanov. I think Lewis Baker went for quite an opportunistic one there on Jividar, excuse me, and then Max Amalan has just been let through by the Aston Martin, and now he'll have to try and overtake Lewis Baker with the battery. He's not got much left. Will he go to the inside or the outside? He switches to the inside. Lewis Baker makes it relatively easier for him, and he tries to hold it round the outside of the Red Bull. He's just going to understeer off. He goes off the track, tries not to get a track limits warning, but dives up the inside of the Red Bull. Through the chicane they go. Can the Williams hold it round the outside? Just lucky, a bit of tyre grip, but so is the Red Bull, who has a big rear end swap, and Max just not leaving the space for Lewis Baker. Very marginal there. He runs onto the curb, and he'll say I was pushed off, and he's going to have to look to try and get that Red Bull back once again. Oh, and Jimada going down the inside now of the Williams, and the Williams turns across him, and Jimada almost does a full 360. He pirouettes around and thankfully manages to keep it going, but that was unlucky for the Aston Martin, who just got clonked by the Williams. Max Amalan goes to the inside of Lewis Baker. Lewis Baker tries to look for the switchback on the Red Bull, but just doesn't quite manage it, and the Red Bull will cut across his nose and pull away. And he's got two angry sharks behind him. Kizio looks to the outside of Elyas Mohammed here on lap 21. Elyas Mohammed just leaves him enough space, and he backs out of that one to ensure that he doesn't accidentally let John Manning slip through the cracks and the doors that open up. But he manages to hold off that Williams, and the Ferrari manages to hold off the Sauber equally. And Miles Deere also comes into pit lane to retire. People not wanting to finish this race. Marcel Holdo up the inside of John Manning, trying to go round the outside of the Williams. Will he manage to do it? He's going to look for a switchback here because there's no grip out there, and he just backs out of it. And a little bit of a wobble and a little bit of a slide. Surely he doesn't look for the move into Cops. He does. He goes to the inside. John Manning. John Manning bags wheels, gives him a proper shove, and Marcel Hull gets through. John Manning actually sticking a wheel on the grass as well. That will give him some understeer, but that was opportunistic.
Crazy.
Perfect from Marcel Hull. As here comes Kizio for the overtake with Elyas Mohammed. He gets to the inside of the Ferrari. Elyas Mohammed loses the lead. Have the medium tyres now dropped off as he tries to hang it round the outside of the Sauber. The Sauber leaves him enough space, and he manages to get through. But can he cut back to the inside line? Kizio, the door is there. He has got a clean air on his nose, but he doesn't get the run. And how does Elyas Mohammed manage it? He's still back in front. Elyas Mohammed might have just done enough on these 17-lap-old mediums to come round the last corner now, past the grandstand, onto the curb, don't lose it now, and over the line. Elyas Mohammed wins the British Grand Prix. He holds on just from Kizio and Marcel Ho, who scores another podium here, back-to-back podiums. Rico gets a great amount of points for Aston Martin, and Lebobo returns to point finishes with a P5. John Manning will be wondering where it all went wrong. Only P6 for him. And Max Amalan, Fletcher Watson, Lewis Baker and Kevin Yerling round out the top 10.